Hi there, my name is Heather Klopp, and today I'm going to talk to you about restraints. There are three different kinds of restraints. There's physical, verbal, and chemical restraints. We like to use restraints for safety of handling for the human, but also for the horse. If a horse is upset about something, if you're trying to administer drugs or put on a wrap, trying to walk them and they seem upset about something, it's really a great tool to know how to properly use these restraints. So the first restraint that I'm going to talk about is a halter and lead rope. I have a handler with me here today, which is the safest way to use restraints if you are trying to, again, administer drugs or wrap a horse and they seem that they're agitated or upset about it and you just are trying to get them to calm down. The best kind of halter to use is a leather halter, or at least have a halter with a leather piece on it so that it'll break away if the horse were to get caught on something. But we try to avoid that as much as possible. You should also be sure that your halter fits your horse properly and make sure that there's not any large cracks, that the leather is going to break on you. And you should also make sure that the rope that you're using isn't very tattered and isn't going to break on you. So the next physical restraint that I'm going to show you how to use is a lead with a chain on it. Some people like to call this a shank, and sometimes you will only have, there won't be any leather attached to it and there won't be a lead rope attached to it, and it'll just be this metal piece that you'll be able to attach to any lead rope, which is handy to have around the barn. And then for clarity of video, I do have my handler standing on the offside of Earl. But if I were doing this and I wasn't demonstrating, I would be having her switch sides with me and standing on the same side as me throughout the entire act of whatever I'm doing. So the first thing that you need to do is go through this first ring on the near side of the horse, the lower ring on the halter. When you're putting the lead rope or the chain through the lead rope or the halter, excuse me, you should be making sure that you're not dragging it across the horse's face and not trying to make a lot of noise. Some horses will see this and get kind of upset about it, and we really don't want to make it like a huge deal. We want it to be a not dramatic act that we're doing. So I'm going to slide it through gently and quietly as possible. Good boy. Like that. And then I'm going to bring it over his nose. I'm going to switch sides so that you can see. I'm going to bring it over his nose like this, cross over the leather on the halter, and through this ring on the offside lower ring. And when we clip it, you can see that there is a trigger on the clip. Good boy. We do not want it to face the inside of the horse because that's not comfortable for him. And so we want to clip it like that. And so you can see that there's a bit of slack in this. I would be comfortable still handling it and pulling the slack through, but if you weren't, you are able to run it all the way through and then clip it back to itself. I'm not going to do that, but if it was a bit longer, I probably would. Like this. Good boy. And I'm going to switch back over without dragging it over his face, like that. And then this is an easy way for you to help just have a little bit more control with Earl if he were upset. So the next physical restraint that I'm going to talk about is a gum chain or a lip chain. People call it different things. I usually refer to it as a gum chain. And this is the same thing as we were using before with just a shank and a lead rope. But the difference is that I'm going to actually apply it a bit differently. Before, when I showed you how to apply it over his nose, I specifically wrapped it around the nose band so that it wouldn't fall onto his lower muzzle area, where at this point I am actually not going to wrap it around the nose band on his halter. So same thing, I'm going to go through this lower ring on the near side. Good boy. Hi, good boy. And I'm going to switch sides again. And then I'm going to run through without crossing through that nose band and up high again. And then I'm going to slide the gum chain, good boy, up onto his gums all the way. And I don't have any pressure on this. As you can see, he's already reacting to it without me applying any pressure. Good boy. And then I'm gonna let it back out. Good boy. And take it off. So that is just another way that has a little bit more control for the handler if the horse is resisting with just a plain halter and lead rope. The next physical restraint that I'm going to talk about is called a lip twine. And this one you apply pretty similarly to the gum chain, but instead I'm going to tie it to the ring on the other side of his halter like I did before. But I'm also still going to keep this attached at all times, the lead rope, with my handler, because this is not enough to hold on to just handle the horse entirely. So if I were walking him, I would be holding on to this and the lead rope at the same time. This is just a really great tool to have because it's super easy. You'll find twine in any barn, so it's just quick and very effective. All right, so you can see that I have a pretty small loop here, and I'm going to run this through the lower ring on the offside again, instead of the upper ring on the offside, and run it through like that. And that's pretty quick, easy not to do. And then I'm going to run through this way, up through this lower offside, or lower near side, I'm sorry, ring. Slide it up onto his gums the same way. And then I'll be holding my lead rope at the same time, and you can apply more tension as needed. And again, you can see he's already reacting to it with barely any pressure to it. And then I can just run it back through like that. Good boy. And then take it off. Like that. So the next physical restraint that I'm going to talk about is a twitch. There's a few different kinds, but this is the kind that we use at William Woods. Good boy. And this just has some rope on the end of it and a wooden axe handle. And when handling a twitch, it's really important that you don't let go and that you also get enough lip in the twine or in the rope so that the lip doesn't slip out, and that also you don't let go, because if this gets out of your hand as a horse is reacting or moving around a lot, this can cause serious injury and can probably kill someone if it were to hit someone hard enough. So I like to come in front of them like this and run my 4 fingers through it like this, and then I twist. I also put it underneath my arm like this to kind of hold on to it so that it doesn't get firm. You should only leave a twitch on for 10 to 12 minutes, because after that a blow stage hits and the horse will become very upset and it will not be a good experience. And up to 3 minutes, after 3 minutes, that's when their body's releasing endorphins, so they'll stay very calm. Up to those 3 minutes, they'll kind of just be distracted and thinking about their lip and the twitch that's on it. So I'm going to use my 4 fingers in it like this, and then I'm going to release them one at a time as I go and tighten it on Earl's lip. So you can see I didn't leave it on there very long because Earl's not doing anything to need it to be held on there for any longer, but you can see the reaction of how he did respond to me putting this on him, and now I had a little bit more control as a handler. All right, so the next physical restraint that I'm going to talk about is called a shoulder roll. This is just a quick way to get the horse's attention. A good example of when you would use this is if your horse was pulling back on the farrier or something along those lines. You kind of just need a quick reaction so that they can get the final nail in or something along those lines. So to do this, it's a quick, like that. I didn't hold it very long, and you saw him kind of shift over, and that's about all the response you need. I could have held it a little bit longer, but again, I don't really want to upset Earl, as he doesn't need me to be doing any of these restraints other than the fact that I need this done for my video. And I did it right at about the point of the shoulder, and I have my nails trimmed. I'm not stabbing my nails into his skin to make it painful or anything along those lines. I really am just trying to get his attention back towards me away if you were upset about something. The next physical restraint that I'm going to talk about is called a leg lift, and I'm going to demonstrate it first. So basically what you do is you lift up their foot, and you should hold it with both hands, and you should point their foot towards their belly like this as much as possible, because he will not have the leverage to pull his foot away from me. When you would do this, if he needed his front right wrapped, I would lift up that front leg, or if he needed his left hind worked on and he was fidgety back there, then I would want to lift up his front left to reduce human injury. You never want to lift up the hind legs, as they're way too strong and you'll never be able to hold them if they're really trying to kick out. And make sure that you are picking up on the same side, as they're able to stand on opposite legs and they'll be able to balance just fine. So another physical restraint that is used but isn't used here at William Woods is called an ear twitch, which to do this you basically grab the horse's ear and squeeze quite hard. We don't do this here because it can actually damage the cartilage in the horse's ear, and it also tends to lead to make horses very head shy, which is not a good thing to have your horse do. So I try and make sure that I'm steering more towards the other physical restraints that I've already talked about. So touching on chemical restraints, the ones that are commonly used are ACE, promazine, rompin, and detomidine. ACE, promazine, and rompin are given 1 to 4 cc's per 1,000 pounds, and that is given IV or IM, and IV usually takes, for both ACE and rompin, it usually takes 8 to 10 minutes to kick in through IV, and 16 to 20 minutes to kick in IM. Detomidine, they use per 1,000 pounds is 1/4 to 1/2 cc per 1,000 pounds, and it's also the same time amount as ACE, promazine, and rompin for the 8 to 10 minutes IV and 16 to 20 minutes IM. The next restraint that I will mention is verbal restraints. This is a very simple restraint that we commonly use in our everyday horse handling. We may use a stern voice to get a horse's attention to stay with us, and we might also use a soothing voice to get a horse to calm down and relax into the situation that they're experiencing. Aside from that, I don't really have much else on restraints, but these are all, again, really good tools to have for everyday horse handling. You might want to use this with your vet or your farrier, or if you're wrapping a horse, it's just really good skills to have.